Good morning, here is Kramer's Corner with the daily technical update. It is a new month and the last day of last month, August, the S&P 500 was rejected at 45.27 resistance here. What is also interesting is that we see the RSI also being rejected at 60. So yes, we are in a short-term uptrend. We are above the cloud. We are back above this rising trend line here, but it can't really get momentum. I would like to see a close above this level here, and I want to see a close above 60 on the RSI before I go full bullish mode. Same picture almost on Nasdaq. It did close above the resistance line here at 15,366. Maybe there is some resistance right there. That is the danger now. It is actually above the cloud, but RSI, as highlighted down here, is not back above 60. Was rejected once again. So let's see here today or the coming days into next week. What will happen with Nasdaq? Not much to say about Seng. Hong Kong has been closed due to a typhoon warning out there. So moving on to the DAX index, rejected just below the 16,060 level, still in a bearish sentiment. The AEX25 in Amsterdam rejected at 750, so still range bound between 730 and 750. Maybe it will have another go today. Can it break above? Well, then there could be room up to around 760, possibly a little bit higher here. Belgium markets, not really much to say either after being rejected at 36.96 to the weak side. CAC that actually broke above and had this uptrend here, broke above the falling trend line, is struggling for momentum, and also we have the RSI. I would like to see it above 60 before I believe that CAC is in a strong uptrend. On the FX side, euro dollar testing the previous support and resistance level. Now it's a support again, 108.33. Around that level, we are back below this falling trend line. Seems like it was a false break. It didn't even get up to the 38 to retracement at 109.60. So it seems fairly weak, and we could, over the next couple of days, see lower levels on euro dollar. It's going to be interesting what will happen when we have some numbers coming out later today. The dollar index, after bouncing off the 200 moving average, it is pausing a little bit, but we should see dollar index moving higher. However, as I wrote in my technical update here a couple of days ago, there is still a risk down to 102.41, which is the 38.2 retracement. So we're not out of the woods yet when we're talking about corrections, really. Cable rejected at the falling trend line. Seems like it will have another go here, but it's probably just merely a correction that maybe could take it up to 27.5, where we have the 55 moving average coming down here, putting a lid on it. So I tilt to the lower levels in coming days and weeks, but there is, of course, if it can break back above the trend line and the 55 moving average, then the key level, and let's do this. Let's draw a little bit of a horizontal line there. 128 is the key level for turning at bullish again. Yen, and I will write a piece on the four big yen pairs today, but in general, all yen pairs, they have been more or less sideways here the past couple of weeks. Here we have dollar yen between 144.5 up to around 146, 147, where it's spiked just a little bit above, about 146.55. So we could see some movements later today in these pairs, depending on the macro numbers. Here we have the euro yen. Yes, it closed above the 159.50, but it couldn't really follow through before it was hammered down. So the key support 156.85 is the one to look out for. If it breaks below that, if it closes below, well, then there we could see a move down to 155, possibly down to 153.30 level, around that. But let's see, we could still end up being range bound. Technically, we are in an uptrend. It hasn't reversed yet, so there could be also upside potential to 160, 160, and let's see where we are, 163, if it really can get back above these peaks here. Aussie yen also sideways with lower, with the lows here being higher, so it does seem like we should have a move towards the key resistance in 95.85, but you see here the 55 moving average is just putting a lid on it, so it will be a little bit of a struggle. And finally, sterling yen, we'll also have a look at that, also sideways here between 183.35 and 186.65, so that's what we're looking at the moment. On the gold side, we had the gold spot being rejected at 1947. Actually, a couple of times tried to get above, but it couldn't really. And we have the 100 moving average coming down. We have the cloud giving some resistance here. I think we could see a setback, possibly down to 1925, maybe a little bit lower. And as I mentioned yesterday, we could end up in a situation where gold is basically just range bound between 1900 and 1950 here for quite some time. Silver in an uptrend, not much news there really, but on copper, which is quite interesting, this morning it seems to be taking off, and if it can follow through, and if we can get RSI back above 60, then we have a recipe for higher levels. However, the 200 moving average will act as a little bit of resistance, but we can still spike up to 400 again, and these peaks are around here. But let's see if that can actually materialize. In the bigger picture on copper, I still believe we will see higher levels in coming weeks. On the energy side, we have Brent oil slowly crawling higher towards the resistance at 88.10, which is key. If we can get a close above that, well, then there's certainly room higher to 90.5, 92.80, and also here we can see on the weekly it's really a crucial resistance level for Brent oil. On the yields, the US 10-year yield is still slowly declining and could still test the lower rising trend line here, possibly dipping down to test the 55 moving average and the lower rising trend line here just below 4%, 397 around that level before we'll see uptrend to resume. All right, that's all for today. Happy trading and have a nice weekend. Talk to you Monday.